Hello, hello, guys. How are you? Thanks for joining me. I'm David. Happy New Year. It's now 2024 and it's going to be amazing. And we're going to start it with some clarity, of course, through this video that I'm going to call What Does It Mean to Wake Up? We've all heard this saying, I'm sure. We wouldn't be here if we weren't on a spiritual journey together, working on waking up. So, what does it mean to wake up? And what does it mean, this veil that we've heard sometimes? So, this gets kind of confusing to us. I remember for many years through my experience of clarity, I didn't really understand what waking up meant. What does this mean? What do you mean, wake up? So, we're going to talk a little bit about it today. Waking up simply means that, well, first you have to understand some truth. The truth is you can only see or perceive what you believe. This is the truth. You cannot see something you don't believe. This is hard for us to understand because we have been trained and conditioned to believe that I can say something about something that has nothing to do with me. But that would make no sense. Where would it come from? Everything is my interpretation. Everything is coming from me to what it is that I'm perceiving. It's all from me. Jesus said that it comes from within. That was the biggest thing, is we're searching without. We're searching outside for everything, when in reality it's all coming from us. So we're kind of chasing our own shadow or chasing our own tail. You ever feel that way? Or are you just chasing something and you never get it? It never seems to come. There's always this ability to, I need, and it never comes. And this feeling of failure is always very apparent in all of our lives. When we fail so much, we get really, really afraid of the world and all the pieces. And now our moment in time, that present moment, right now, becomes pretty much the scariest place in life. And it is the only place in life. Does that make sense? That moment closes down because it's full of fear and full of worry and full of doubt. So the ego uses tools such as justification, justifying where we are and defending where we are and rationalizing where we're not, so to speak, in order to keep us out of the moment. And now the moment, which is where all our power is closed. The door is shut. Jesus said, the open door that no man can shut. He's talking about the moment, right now, where all your power is. So, what does it mean to wake up? Well, first we have to understand what it means to be asleep. We have to understand that there are always two perceptions going at this that we have to choose from. Let's talk about the idea of fear, because they're just fear and love. That's it, fear and love. Either we're projecting fear and we see only fear, and then those reflections come back in a fearful way, and we blame each individual person or thing, even though it's all coming from us, because the fear is being projected out. And then, kind of like a light shining on a crystal, if you can imagine, it hits all those different places of the crystal and it projects out, and it looks like all these separate things. But the source of all of it is going to be that light. Does that make sense a little bit? See, in science, we started, at the beginning of time, we started looking out in the world and observing all the pieces and then trying to figure out where they are and what they're doing and where we belong in terms of them. And we put ourselves in a very small place and we put the outside world very big. But that's not how it works. We also never took in consideration perception. So when quantum physics started coming, they started realizing that things were not as they appeared. They started understanding, and they're still working on that idea that everything is a collective, and it's all coming from you. This needs to be understood. Once you get this, then you realize you have two ways to see the world. You can either perceive it as fearful, and then that light shines down on that diamond, and then all those separate pieces start projecting fear back and reflecting, everything reflecting fear back. Does that make sense? And when that happens, we stay out of the moment and we're afraid of everything. We're worried, we're afraid, this person is that way. It appears to us that all those people or all those things are indeed fearful. But in reality, it's all coming from one source. And that source is fear. And now as it projects out through all these separate things, they all will reflect back fear to us. I hope this makes sense. Now, another world is a world of love. Same thing, that laser can come through. And now that laser comes through, it projects onto that diamond, and all those individual pieces, guess what? They become love. It never has anything to do with the outside. And this is the most important thing. You can either serve all the pieces or you can serve the collective whole. One or the other. Source energy is flowing through us all the time. It moves through our filter of fear, and then we project everything out, all those individual pieces, and they all reflect back to us fear. Or source energy flows through us, and it doesn't filter through fear, and we're open to receive, and now it projects out into the world, and then now we have love coming back. Does this make sense? Now, it seems to us, this is the illusion, this is where waking up comes in. It seems to us that there's fear and love out there, doesn't it? Well, sometimes, Dave, there's love, and I hear this from my clients, and sometimes this person is here, but this person's great, and this person's not, and it looks like we're going back and forth between these two worlds. But let me show you, that's not true. If I take this regular quarter, and it looks like it has heads on one side and tails on the other side, that's these two worlds. They exist, but they do not coexist. They cannot coexist. So what you see out there is changing from love to fear and all in between is not one world changing. It's two completely different worlds or two different perceptions of you being projected out. They are a collective whole. You can either project fear and the source changes and now everything you see is fear. But I can assure you, if you look over here and you see something fearful, and then you look over here and see something good, you just flip the quarter. You just let go. Somehow you change your filter to a higher vibration, and now you're projecting that back. So this keeps us really up and down, doesn't it? Can you see how changing that quarter over and over and over and over and over, and changing those worlds like this? This is why we're tired. This is why we're beat down, exhausted, afraid, worried. Do you see? Because we're moving back and forth between these two worlds. Now, it's really important to understand that the world of fear is like taking a room and designing it really nice and beautiful with the lights on. But what happens when you turn the lights off and it goes dark, or you can only see little pieces of it? All of a sudden, it changes completely, doesn't it? It no longer looks at this beautiful, wonderful place. It's now looking dark. And you can even make yourself believe that it's scary and that there's this and that. Notice those ghost movies, the lights are off. So fear is construed as darkness. When you put darkness on somebody or something through that projection onto that diamond, now it projects darkness. That darkness, that negative feeling, that negative emotion that stops your energy from flowing, cutting you off from source. It just feels like you're moving through quicksand. Does that make sense? Now, awakening or asleep means that as you look out into the world and project your fear onto it and it reflects back to you, that it's real and that it's coming from out there. But it's not. You're looking at a dark room that, when lit up, looks very, very, very different. So your perception of people, your perception of the things in your life, even your own house, I'm not lying to you, it's not true. What we're seeing in this is not true. As long as it projects any kind of negative emotion back to you in a way you don't like, you can be sure there has to be another way of seeing it. We would call those two ways one asleep and one awake. When you are awakened, you see only the light, only the depth of life and the beauty and the joy and the fun because of the light that you're projecting onto it through the love as it refracts off the diamond. Does that make sense? So these two worlds are our two choices that we have at all times. But the awakening process can only start when we realize that what we're seeing, since I'm getting negative emotion and I don't like that and I'm judging that and I don't like that and I feel judged here, and all those pieces seem to be reflecting back to me things I don't like. about myself or about them or it, to understand that there must be another way, that I am indeed what you would call asleep or in a dream world. The lights are off and I cannot see the full picture. I'm seeing a partial piece of it, and then my mind is making up things and filling in the gaps, and none of it is true. Serving the pieces, worrying about others and worrying about things and putting them outside of me, and then judging myself in the process, is a feeling of asleep. So anytime you feel negative emotion, if I'm walking down anywhere in any situation and I feel negative emotion pushing into me, I automatically go, Dave, you are asleep. Somehow you are now projecting fear. And now what do I know? I know that I can flip the quarter, do you see? And start projecting love. And that's the key, to recognize, when are you flipping your quarter? That's the journey. When, by noticing the negative emotion and saying, this can't be real. What I'm experiencing right now is darkness, and I can't see truth here. I cannot see truth. That's the key. It needs to be absolute. I'm seeing this incorrectly, and now I must ask for help. And who do you ask? You ask the bigger part of you, that higher self, that God self. Give it a name. Get into a relationship with it, and you will see it is real and it is there. Right now, I'm serving the wrong master. I'm serving separation. I'm serving darkness. I'm serving this idea of being asleep. I'm seeing things wrong, and there must be another way to see it. A way of connection and love and appreciation versus disconnection, separation, and frustration, and anger, and loss, and lack. They do not exist together. So now, this journey becomes a cleanup. When am I flipping my quarter? Oh, I recognize it. Boy, I feel that negative emotion. I need to find a way to see this differently. If you can't feel and see it differently, go find something else to look at until you feel your energy flow again. You'll get back to that later. And then ask your Holy Spirit, that holy self inside you, can you please show me the clarity and the answers so I can let this go? Tai Chi is simple. It's not about staying rough and the pieces pushing against themselves. It's about everything flowing together, and it gets more and more every day, and every second you do it, it gets more and more as everything starts coming together. It becomes ease, a flow of ease. Guys, I'm here to let you know that the world is the same way. It's not supposed to get worse and worse and worse, and then we die, and then we get disease, and then we have anxiety, and then we have frustration, and then you see our minds full and cluttered. No, it's supposed to become easier, flowing, relaxed. But as long as we're not looking and recognizing when we're moving that quarter and flipping it, and then doing the work to try to align our vibration by recognizing that what I'm experiencing cannot be real. I have to be asleep. How do I wake up in this moment? And how do I find the positive emotion that must be there and let go of this negative emotion? Instead of projecting out and blaming what I'm looking at and trying to change the world, or trying to please it so I don't have to feel this way, then we will feel stuck. We will be in the middle of huge mansions with dark rooms, and we won't be able to see the truth of what's really there. It's time to turn the light on. That's what 2024 is, right? Let's turn the light on and recognize the truth. And when you feel that negative emotion, just say to yourself, oh, I got to flip that quarter. I'm seeing this wrong. There must be another way to see this. And that's going to be my journey. My journey is going to be one thing this year, to recognize how I feel and move how I feel more than anything else in my life. Because when I feel good, I know that I'm flowing and projecting love. When I feel bad, I know that I'm flowing and projecting fear. No more push outside, no more blame outside, no more projection. It starts and ends and flows with how I feel, with me. Everything is coming from me. I'm going to take responsibility for me. And boy, now watch. Because as we turn that light on and it starts projecting outside, can you imagine that world's going to look very, very differently? I promise you. And it's a worthy, worthy journey. I hope this helps. Thank you so much. It's such a wonderful to have you guys following along. Please hit that like button if you enjoy it, or subscribe if you haven't, and share and share. And most importantly, turn your light on and watch your world change before your eyes. That's what miracles are. And as always, my unconditional love and appreciation. Until next time.